Hi everyone, I am so glad that you're here. It is time to finish the nativity set. I think Elvis is going to be excited because today we're putting up the... Elvis? Elvis, what are you doing?
Oh, hi, Avery. I am checking my Christmas list. I want to make sure that I keep track of everything I get this Christmas.
Oh, but Elvis, how are you making a list if you can't read or write?
You underestimate me, Avery. I can draw pictures. See?
Oh, that's a very long list, Elvis.
It's not as long as it could be. I took out the squeaky chicken chew toy, too rubbery, and the glow-in-the-dark tennis ball. I remembered that you got me one of those last year.
I'm glad that you're excited about the presents, Elvis. But remember that celebrating Christmas isn't about getting what we want.
But if Christmas isn't about getting presents, then why are they such a big deal? Why do we get presents on Christmas in the first place?
That's a good question, Elvis. Friends, do you know why we give and get presents on Christmas? Well, I think our nativity figures for today might help answer that question.
Wait, are you putting up the wise men today, Avery?
Let's find out.
Oh, goody.
In the book of Matthew, we read about what happened to Mary and Joseph after Jesus was born. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem, in Judea. In those days of King Herod, wise men from the east arrived in Jerusalem, saying, "Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star rising, and we have come to worship him."
Wait, how did the wise men know that a star meant that a king had been born? I see stars in the sky all the time, but they don't tell me special messages, except to go to sleep.
Well, back in Bible times, there were people called wise men who studied the stars and planets in the sky. They believed that nature could tell them important messages. When they saw a certain star rise in the sky, they believed that meant that a very special king had been born. In fact, they understood that this king was so special that they were willing to take a very long trip just to get to see him.
How long was their trip, Avery?
Well, we're not really sure, Elvis, but most likely they traveled hundreds of miles just to see Jesus.
Hundreds of miles? I never would have made it.
Yes, it was a very long trip, but the wise men believed that it would be worth it. They wanted to see this special baby so that they could worship him. There was another person who wanted to see this special baby too, but not so that he could worship him.
Who?
This man was King Herod, and he was not happy to hear that a baby had been born who might be king one day. You see, he wanted to be the only king. So King Herod told the wise men to go search for the baby, and when they found him, to come and tell him. He wanted to get rid of baby Jesus.
Oh no! An evil king with an evil plan. Dun dun dun. What did the wise men do, Avery?
Well, this is what the Bible says. After hearing the king, they went on their way. And there it was, the star that they had saw rising. And then it came above the place and stopped where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overwhelmed with joy. Entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and falling to their knees, they worshipped him. They opened their treasures and presented him with gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
Hold on. What were those gifts again? Are frankincense and myrrh something you eat?
No, Elvis. Frankincense and myrrh are really expensive perfumes. The gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh that the wise men gave baby Jesus were expensive gifts that were given to a king. This showed that the wise men believed that Jesus was not an ordinary baby, that he was a special king, and that he was worthy to be worshipped.
But what about King Herod? Did the wise men go tell him where the baby Jesus was?
God was watching out for Mary and Joseph and Jesus. God warned the wise men in a dream not to return to Herod. So the wise men went back to their country a different way.
Ooh, way to go, wise guys.
You know, friends, King Herod wanted to get rid of baby Jesus because he didn't understand what kind of king Jesus would be. He thought Jesus was coming to take away his throne. But that wasn't why Jesus came. Friends, why did God send Jesus to the world? Think back to the very beginning of the Christmas story. God knew that his people needed to be rescued from the punishment of their sin. One of my favorite Bible verses of all times, John 3:16, says this: "For God loved the world so much that he sent his only Son, that whoever believes in him will not perish, but have everlasting life." Friends, that sounds like the best Christmas gift ever. To know that we are loved and forgiven by God, and that we can live with him forever. Jesus is that gift to everyone who believes.
So Jesus is a gift, and the wise men brought him gifts. That's a lot of important gifting happening.
Yes, and that is why we give gifts on Christmas, to help us remember that we were given the very best gift by God when he sent his son Jesus. And speaking of giving gifts, Elvis, this is for you.
Really? Oh boy, can I open it?
Of course, El. Now, friends, it would be silly if I gave Elvis this present, but then he just let it sit in his doghouse and he never opened it. If someone gave you a present, do you want to open it? Yes. Well, in the same way, God has given you the gift of his Son, Jesus. Friends, have you opened the present that God has given you? Do you believe that you need to be saved from your sin and that Jesus is the only one who can do that? Have you asked Jesus to come into your life? Believing in Jesus and asking him to save you from your sin is the most important decision that you will ever make. Friends, if you have questions about this, please talk to your parents or your pastor or someone in your life who knows Jesus. They would love to help you unwrap this amazing gift that God has given you.
Ooh, look, I've almost got it. Oh, wow. It's a new chew toy. Thank you, Avery. I love it.
You're welcome, Elvis. Now remember, chew on your chew toy and not my nativity set.
Okay, Avery. Your nativity set is really special to you. I will try not to chew on this one.
Thank you, Elvis. Friends, thank you for joining us on this journey to learn about the nativity. Reading the Christmas story with you has been so special. I pray that you and your family have a wonderful time celebrating God's gift to us, Jesus. From Elvis and I and all of our friends here at KidVue, Merry Christmas.